my novel, A Seat at the Table, I have a character in that novel. She's the main character. Her name is Joy. And she is a marketer, and she's taken on a Christian school as a client. And she got the gig because she is a Christian. But she had set aside reading her Bible for a long time, and she wasn't motivated by the things of God to make decisions and to create in her life. That wasn't her source. That wasn't her well. And that wasn't the standard by which she was measuring truth against. And so she puts together this little marketing package, and she gets declined, right? They're like, tacking on a Bible verse at the end of a marketing package does not make it from a biblical worldview. Try again. So she's like, so she goes to church, and as I describe it, I'm hoping the reader sees what I'm trying to show, which is she walks into a church where there's a very large lobby and people are visiting, but she can slip in and go to her place that she normally sits in because it's so big that she's not known, right?
Yeah.
So she can slip in and slip out. She sits in the balcony, kind of in the back, up a little bit in the back row of a very dark room. And she gets swept away with the emotion of the music that's happening. And then she experiences, I call it that TED Talk sermon, right? The one where it sounds like a really good idea. And they insist that it's from a biblical worldview, but you're not really sure how they got there because they weren't preaching the word. They were just giving a good talk. And she feels like she hears a word from the Lord because something that the pastor said was something that had happened to her before. And like, oh, that's exactly what I needed. And she goes out and she has lunch with a friend, and she's just like, and her friend is an active follower of Christ. And she says, I have the power to do this thing. And she's like, really? What did he say that you said? It comes from Psalm 139, and I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And her friend says, what else did he say? He's like, oh, this Psalm tells us all about us and how great we are. And she goes, oh, see, I always thought the Psalm was more about God than about us. And of course, Joy wasn't in a place to hear it because she was a cultural Christian. She's like, oh, yeah. And she moves on. But the friend was trying to point out something that we could read the same chapter. And this guy says it's about you. And God's like, it's about me.
Yeah.
Yes, you're fearfully and wonderfully made because I'm creator God. And I don't make junk, and I made you in my image, and it's more about him than about us. So again, that's kind of a picture of it. And what I hope to say, either if it's a listener of my podcast or a reader of my book, or even just a listener of this podcast, this is that there's so much more on the other side of it. God wants to show himself and reveal himself. And he's just kind of waiting for us, again, to draw near to him so that he can draw near to us. And I know that in the heart of Christians, that's what we really want. We want an authentic experience with him, which he does offer, but that's also rooted and grounded in truth. And that truth is in the person of Christ and in the words that God has preserved that reveal Christ. And everything in the Bible points to him anyway. So it would behoove us to read the whole thing, the whole story, so that we can see his grand plan.